and it's on for Hazel Serrano-Brown. And Hazel is the 2021 ACT RACS Training Association representative, and she's going to just let us know on updates of training and registrar life in the age of COVID in Canberra. Thanks, Hazel.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, that's great, Hazel. We can see your slides.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to sort of acknowledge what it's like to be a trainee in 2021. Just wanted to start off by mentioning again that the fellowship exam has been cancelled for this sitting, as most of you probably already know. We also just want to congratulate those of us who have got through exams this year. The one that comes to mind for the fellowship exam is Gopi Alango, and he did a great job getting through. And our junior trainees who got through the GSSE exam, and I have a short list of names and I've probably missed a few, but I know Philip Wiley got through, Tom, Stanifort, Nunzio, Emily Kane and Darwina. So congrats guys, that was a great achievement getting through. I just have a couple of slides to talk about what it's been like for surgical trainees throughout the world, and surgeons as well. And this was a quote by an Italian surgeon over a year ago. And he published this in an article, and he said, "There are no more surgeons, urologists, orthopedists. We're only doctors who suddenly become part of a single team to face this tsunami." And there's been extensive research about the impact of COVID on surgery and surgical training. And a few points that have been covered include the redeployment of surgical trainees, which requires upskilling in non-surgical areas such as emergency and critical care, cancellation and postponement of elective procedures resulting in reduced training opportunities within our own fields. And compounding all this is the unpredictable nature of the pandemic, fatigue and anxiety contributing to that increased risk of burnout. Some papers have been published on this, and the title of one was called "COVID-19 Leaves Surgical Training in Crisis." And this almost sounds a bit overdramatic because in Canberra we've been quite sheltered and we haven't really gone through that lived experience of very high numbers of cases, but we're sort of having that second wave now and having a taste of it again. But they talked about how all trainees have had reduced experience in outpatient clinics, ward work and multidisciplinary meetings. And they actually reviewed logbooks of trainees between 2019 and 2020. And they found there was a 50% reduction in operations with trainees as the primary operating surgeon, which is quite a significant impact. And they also noted that it's not just operative and clinical experience that has been affected, but also mental health and well-being of trainees. This is another interesting quote where it talked about the situation for surgical trainees is quite serious and has had a significant impact over the last few months. And if there is no training today, there will be no surgeons tomorrow. And this article talked about what can be done and put forward some suggestions, including provision of training within the independent or private sector, individualizing training trajectories, which involves sort of more of a mentoring coaching model, creating and expanding e-learning with webinars such as this, developing simulation opportunities to learn technical and non-technical skills. And we've had a few excellent talks on that today, actually. And a good sort of overall summary is that the delivery of surgical training will need to move away from traditional models and will need to sort of adopt new ways in the pandemic setting and in general going forward. What can surgery learn from other high performance disciplines? And this was involving high performance athletes and pilots. And again, highlighted the role of simulation training, and some studies have actually shown that skills obtained on simulators can be transferred to the clinical setting. The role of video analysis of technical and non-technical skills, the role of coaching, which I've mentioned before, but this happens to be a two-way process, which equally requires effort from the trainee as well as the trainer. Remote connectivity with the use of platforms to allow distribution of surgical experience, and this can eventually play a role in real-time review of difficult cases. And then the role of benchmarking with our own participation in regular audits, and Professor Smith's talk about the role of the registry and other such tools that are available even to us as trainees. So what can we do as trainees? I think it's a great chance to work on our own efforts to embrace every learning opportunity. We should continue to encourage our training societies to use online platforms for courses and conferences. I'm sure all of our presenters today who presented the free papers are quite grateful that this opportunity to present has gone ahead, and will count towards CV points for applications next year. We should continue to participate in online education sessions and sort of start giving up on that notion that face-to-face is the only way, or maybe this is, we need to learn to embrace that online education is the future. We need to take up simulation opportunities, and Dr. Frank Pishneri's worked very hard in developing a surgical skills centre for us at the Canberra Hospital, and as funding evolves, we'll develop that further. And we need to overall just accept that the future of surgery will increasingly involve the use of online platforms and technology. Just a quick shout out to Rackster to please all of the trainees who are listening, remember to complete the survey at the end of each term. It is just another survey and we acknowledge that, but it does actually affect our work situation. And at the moment, RACS is working on how to minimise the impact of COVID on training, flexible training, portability of leave entitlements between states, safe working hours, and many other things. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Hazel. That was fantastic discussion. I mean, really emphasises the difficulties faced by trainees, particularly with the unknown. What is going to happen tomorrow? What is going to happen next week? What is going to happen next year? And for everyone, and more so for the trainees, that's really emphasised with what's going on at the moment. And really, it's sort of emphasised that it's really up to us at a local level. You can't travel to really sort of promote training and leaning on your seniors for that training.